Houdini that I've learned directly from my grandfather, who was alive during that time. And this was never published or anything, and it's pretty fascinating. So what happened is around 1923, what they wanted to do was they wanted to build a prototype of a holding cell. He worked for an architecture company, so the architects worked on the project, and they thought, before we run this thing into mass production, we want Harry Houdini to see if he could escape from this prototype of this holding cell. Right? And so they commissioned Houdini. They pay him $10,000 just to try the escape attempt, and they were going to give him $20,000 if he actually was able to get out. Okay. So just to give you a little bit more background on Houdini, he was a master of getting free publicity. He would go into a town a week before he was going to do his shows, and he would go to the police office. He'd call the journalists. They would put him in handcuffs. He would escape. They would lock him in a cell. He would escape. One time they brought him out to a ship. They nailed him inside of the crate, pushed him overboard into Lake Erie, and he got out of that. So then people said, Houdini can walk through walls. Okay. So we're going to recreate the escape attempt that Houdini did for the United States government regarding these holding cells. Okay. So this card here will represent Houdini. Okay. So we're going to put him somewhere in the pack. And what they did was they wanted to disorient. Okay, so I'm going to disorient. Well, before we do that, this is going to represent the holding cell. This is a vegetable bag, okay? But it's actually a good representation of the holding cell because they wanted it to be portable, which this is, and they wanted it to be relatively see-through, which this is, which was brilliant. Keep the bad guys on the inside and the good guys on the outside, right? And they wanted only one way in and one way out. Okay. So what happens is Houdini's in there and they're disorienting him, and Western, until you say stop. Everyone says stop. Stop. Right there. Now, Houdini, along with the 51 armed guards, the other guards, they go into the holding cell. And then they disorient him one more time. And at this point in time, they inflate the holding cell. And they seal off the only way in and the only way out. Now, the prison officials sat there saying, no way, no how is Houdini getting out of there. But do you know what happened? Just like a ghost, Houdini walked right through the wall of that cell. And that's the legend, the untold story of Harry Houdini.
I hate you.